As you can tell from the title of this video, I want to talk about some things about our mother in the Lord, mother in Israel, Mommy Folu Adeboye. And I would just like to share 7 things, but let me give you a bit of gist before I go into the 7 points. Right? So the background gist is that my first encounter knowing anything about her was when I broke off my last major relationship, and I was now single based on God's instructions and waiting for my Mr. Right? And in that season, God was telling me He was preparing me for one of His choice sons, and that I should pay attention to ministry. And so I started to, when God started showing me the visions of what He was preparing me for, I started to research pastors' wives, and Mommy Folu Adeboye caught my attention, as well as other, very prominent pastors' wives. I tried to find as much information as I could find online, but it didn't quite dawn on me the amazing person this woman is until I got into the Redeemed Church of God. And that was when I got married. So my home church is Christ Embassy. As some of you would know, that's where I got married. But then my husband was at the time a redeemed pastor. So we even lived in the redemption camp. So I got to experience Mommy G.O. I would like to, honor her by making this video and talking about some things that I've learned from her. And quickly, I'm going to share 7 things that I've learned from Mommy Gio. The first one is her generosity. One of the things that I learned from her when she came to our parish, which is the particular church that PJ was pastoring at the time, is that she brought a truckload of snacks for the children. Hilux truck. I'll find a picture. She brought a truckload of snacks for the children, and I would get to know that she does this every time, everywhere she goes. And if anybody came to see her, you never left empty-handed. I learned that lesson from her. It was an indirectly or directly, I learned that lesson from her. You cannot outgive her. No matter the gift you are bringing, there is something for you to take back. And that's something that I'm very grateful for her. She's somebody that if you're not in the redeemed system, you will not really understand her role, the role she plays.
Thank you for someone who would not allow the world to know how weak I can be.
God, one of the lines, he said, I'm grateful to God that He sent you to me because of you, others don't see my weaknesses. That means she's strong. The strength we're celebrating, Daddy, that's a different point, but I'm still going to tie it into generosity. The things we celebrate about Daddy is because Daddy Gio, Daddy Adeboye, is because of who Mommy is, and I just want to celebrate her and just say that I love her so much, and I'm very grateful that she, inspires me daily. Yes, we used to be in the Redeemed Christian Church of God, where my husband is the pastor, until God called him out to start a ministry, Light Life Church. Mind you, he told me about this before we got married, but I saw it as something far off. I saw it as something that we'll do in our retirement, like after 30 years of marriage, when we have made money, when we have hustled, then we can start ministry. But I didn't realize 1 year into the marriage, Baba is telling me that God is telling us to start a ministry, and that was a big challenge. But it started to occur to me that a lot of the things that I've learned, that I've observed along the way, the journey God was taking me through, this was the reason why, that I was one day going to become little lady, will become a general overseer's wife. And I can owe a lot of the successes I've recorded to the ability that God has given me to be able to learn by observation. So I've learned that Mommy is very generous. And see, if you come to my house, except I'm not around, if it's gari, you will take with you. If it's onions, 2 bulb of onions like this, you will take with you. You will take something with you. If you don't at least take something right there. So no matter how bad it is, you should always have something to give. I learned that from Mommy Gio. So number 2, Mommy Gio is very, very disciplined and very firm. She's very, very firm. I know from living in camp that people are scared of her. Like, if Mommy says something, that's it. Like, don't go there. If Daddy says something, there's still a chance that you can beg for mercy. That is the quote and unquote forgiving one, right? I'm very sure Mommy will be also very forgiving as well. But Mommy is very disciplined. What she says is what stands. There's no argument. And I found this a bit challenging because, as a pastor's wife, there's this pressure to kind of be on everybody's good side. You don't want to offend everybody, but then somebody has to be the tough one. It really takes another side to make this thing happen, to make this work progress, to make this system, this organization move forward. That discipline, that strength, that ability for people to know that if First Lady has said it, she has said it, right? So very important. I learned that from mommy. Discipline and firmness, very, very firm. And number 3 will be mommy is an amazing support system to daddy. She's an amazing support system to daddy. The reason why we celebrate Pastor E.A. Adeboye. My Geo is here. What a great interruption. Hey, come now, come. I'm making the video for mommy's birthday.
Okay.
So she's a great support system to daddy. A lot of the successes we celebrate, see, let me tell you, if he did not have peace in the house, he cannot do anything. If he did not have, and this one is even beyond peace at home, because when he made that statement, when he said, thank you for making others not see my weaknesses, statement here all deep. It means that mommy is the only one who knows the weak points of daddy the way she does, and she covers it. So when you talk about support system, like when people say, oh, thank you so much for how you support PJ, thank you so much for how you support PJ, and I'm just thinking like that, we are still apprenticed in the school of support. We are still learning work. So mommy, thank you so much being a support system to that duo, seeing all the amazing things that God is doing in the Redeemed Christian Church of God. I know that you have a beautiful and amazing role that you are playing. I know that you are supporting him spiritually, emotionally, financially, mentally, every of the alleys, and even like with prayer, a lot of times with prayer. So thank you so much, mommy. We celebrate you for that. So number 4 is mommy's sense of humor. Hey, mommy Jo is funny. She's funny without, you know how there are some people that they're really, really trying to make you laugh, so they make the joke and they're laughing with you. No. Mommy Jo is very humorous in a very subtle form. So I'm privileged to be part of the Feast of Esther community. Shout out to my Feast of Esther mommies. Yeah, my mommies. Feast of Esther is a program Mommy Jo has once a year, where she has a community of women who are wives of general overseers and women in ministry who founded their ministry themselves. And it's usually a beautiful time. It's an amazing conference. We'll have multiple speakers. There once in a while, just once when mommy is speaking or when mommy is passing by, she'll make a statement, she'll say something, and everybody will just, it's funny, but there is lesson inside the humor. So I really like that about her. She's down to earth, and she has a very beautiful sense of humor. She's not in the clouds. There are some pastors' wives that they cannot compliment somebody's tie. They cannot notice your new shoe. No, I saw that in her, and that's one of the things I took on intentionally in my journey. So mommy, thank you so much for being humorous, for being down to earth. Another thing is that mommy is a leader. Mommy is a leader. There's this popular saying that says that the success of a leader is when they have been able to have a successor, right? When they've been able to reproduce themselves such that other people are exhibiting her traits. And this is because I've had a personal encounter with somebody that mommy has there's this Yoruba proverb, I don't know how to say it, but like when you keep soap and sponge for a long time, the sponge becomes soap, I think it's the sponge. How do you guys say it? How do we say it? So I have one of the Ewe that has been close to the Oshe of Mommy Gio, that somebody that is really close to her, and that I see a lot of Mommy Gio in her. I get to learn a lot about Mommy Gio through her, and that is none other but my mommy love, Mommy Comfort Mulero, Mommy Elder Comfort Mulero, of the Redeemed Christian Church of God as well. She's, of course, like I said, my mommy love. She's an in-law to me, but guys, like, when you talk about leadership, you know, this my mommy in love, one of her names is Yamito. I think that's what it's called. It just means that they know how to get things in order. They know how to organize things, and they know. So somebody who knows, for instance, now, Life Church is growing, and I'm learning about her in different dimensions. The way I knew about her before church started is not the same way I know about her rather, now that we're 5 years old. You know, we're still a baby, 5 years old, but now I'm able to relate. You know, things are not so abstract. You know, when they're saying, okay, pastors and ministers, and how do you treat pastors, how do you treat ministers, because that's the office of a first lady or the wife of a pastor. We have a lot of things coming up. You know, there's our first wedding coming up in Life Church. You know, our first pastors that met in church are getting married. You know, just knowing that I always have counsel from somebody who is like Mommy Gio, quote and unquote, is so comforting. There's some people that can be very great, very amazing, very phenomenal, but never get to replicate themselves. So I love that about Mommy Gio, and I love that most of her daughters, who are like my mothers, are really beautiful examples of Mommy Gio. Number 6 is that she is a mother. The quality of being a mother, a nurturer, somebody that can grow something, somebody that can stay with something until that thing becomes great. I love that so much about Mommy Gio. It's so inspiring. It's so inspiring. It's really inspiring. I see that, you know, see this humor thing, being humorous, being down to earth. You know, a mother is the one that can come down to your level and kind of understand the pain that you're going through, kind of understand. And I see that a lot of times when she sees people, because I've seen her, you know, I've never had any interactions with her. It's my dream too, by the grace of God. But I've seen that when she communicates with people, she asks about personal things. Just that part of her, I really love, I really admire. It's a lesson that I've learned from her over the years, and I'm very grateful for. Last but definitely not the least is Mommy's hospitality. Oh! If that was the only point, if that was the only thing I want to say, is enough. Guys, I did not understand it until I entered the Redeemed Christian Church of God. Getting married on my wedding day, I've not been to a lot of weddings, maybe a few. I've not been to so many weddings. We didn't know. My wedding was the first in my family, and I have all these really big. You know, I told you my mom-in-law is an elder in Redeemed. That's the person I said is like Mommy Gio. Imagine all these kinds of people come to my wedding, and there was no minister's pack. Yeah, in my wedding there was no minister's pack. There was no cooler for ministers. Not because there was no food. I'm telling you, there was a lot of food. There was so much food. There was food, so much food afterwards. Chinese, all those things. But nobody, I don't know that you're supposed to pack food for ministers and take it to the church. And I had so many senior ministers come. So getting into Redeem and learning about the culture of hospitality. Excuse me, Mulberry. Excuse me, it's Clary. This is not the video, maybe another video if people want to learn about the hospitality in the Redeemed Christian Church of God. And for me, that's a standard. Like, I can't do, if you know better, you do better. And by the grace of God, every day I am trying to be better. And it's not easy, because even as a pastor's wife, you have to be financially empowered. That's one thing I like about Mommy Gio as well. She's not just, she has multiple businesses. She knows what she's doing. Because if you're going to be doing anything hospitality, it requires money. And for a baby church like Life Church, I can't go and meet a pastor that I want to do this extra expense thing. And, you know, most times he just sees me doing a project and he says, oh, you're doing this. And I say yes. And then he supports. But, so support or no support, some things must be done. I want to celebrate Mommy, and I hope that these points have inspired you, even if you're not a pastor's wife, even if you are not a woman. In anything that you do, see these qualities that I shared with you, the 7 of them: generosity, discipline, being a support system, having a really beautiful sense of humor, being down to earth, being a leader, the ability to reproduce yourself, being a mother, and then last but definitely not least, hospitality. If you have had any encounter with Mommy Gio, please can we continue this conversation in the comments? And I will be very happy to read from you. Not that I think that she will ever see this video, but I just want to say, Mommy, I love you so much, and you've really blessed my life. You've changed my life. You've given my life direction, and I just want to celebrate you and all that you represent on this special 75th. And I just want to say, Mommy, I love you so much. Happy birthday from Lade Olabi, Juwon Olabi, and all of us at Light Life Church. We love you. I guess I'll see you at Feast of Esther 2024. God bless you, Mommy. Mwah!